Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Nick here, Sharpen Up. Today we're going to do this stern to docking with lazy lines, with a crosswind, single-handed. Okay, no one on the dock, no one else everywhere. So the first thing we do here is I always come in and have a look at what I'm heading for. Okay, I spy my dock, I spy the cleats or the bollards or the rings I'm going to have to deal with. Just dropping into neutral now, because I'm upwind, and feeling what the wind is like in this position on the boat. How is the boat reacting to it, okay? I've just turned around, the apparent wind's gone down. As we approached, we had 12 knots, and it was coming just off straight down the pier. Now we're down to like 9 knots, 8.5, 10. Okay, so look, let's split the difference, call it 8 to 10 knots. So now I'm coming directly downwind so that I've got a good run up to my spot. I've spied what I've got to hook through, because the hardest part here is there's no one on the dock to sort me out, okay? And there's no bollards, T-bollards for throwing captive loops over. There is the big bollard, which I'll use if I have to, and for the sake of this video, I'll see if I can do it with the rings, because this is all about timing. Now, I'm not silly. I'm going to work on not using my bow thruster for this, but I'll turn it on, okay? I'll turn it on anyway. Let's just check the shots we've got here now. So stern to the wind is a good place to hold and check you've got everything set up. Where's the boat? There we go. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, so this is the approach. Got my boat hook handy there. I've got my stern lines all set up here, and they're outside my line. It's not caught up with anything. Same on that side. I've got my big ball fender on the stern, and I've got some other fenders around, but they're not really important because there's no other boats on the dock. Now this is when this one becomes a bit challenging. Well, it's always a bit challenging, don't get me wrong, but when there is no other boats on the dock, there is no boat to lay against. And look, don't worry about people that tell you, oh, you shouldn't touch another boat. This is Croatia, it works a bit different. When you're stacked in the summer, you will be touching other boats with your fenders, so work on having good fender control. So I've picked my spot. I'm going to go for roughly where this power box is. That's about where I'm going to end my stern. So I'm aiming for that at the moment with my stern almost directly upwind. I've got quite a bit of speed on, so I'm just going to drop that down now. And what I'm aiming to do is to spin the boat further upwind than I want to be laying, so that I've got more time to step off and do my stern line. I'm also going to bias the boat a little bit further upwind than I need to be. I actually think I've left my turn a little bit late here, but let's see. There's always time to bail out. So there's my turn, hard round on the port. I'm well into neutral now. I'm going to go into forwards and do a starboard rudder here. And this acts as like a thruster. See, bringing my stern around. Now, only when I'm confident that I can do that, I'm going to step off, loop that line, step back on, and then immediately get control. I'm watching my stern here. Blair, if you can bring that drone down a little bit for us. Put that on there. And now I'm going to engage in forwards on my windward control line. And manage it relative to the amount of wind I've got. I'm pretty happy with that holding place at the moment. Notice I've done it very short. Because I don't want to be jumping, I want to be stepping. Now that I've got both control lines on, I can feel a bit more confident about a bit more power to hold me up on that windward one. You see the wind had started getting me. So now I've got to regain my momentum upwind. I'm just going to center my rudder here. So adding that extra power to gain my momentum upwind. And then I can drop off a little bit of power now that she's holding. I want to bias a little bit upwind, so I'm going to ease my leeward line just a little bit like that. There we go. But I'm still nice and close for my step off here. Now, I don't need to step off for this next move. I can use my boat hook, catch my lazy line here, and notice now there's no rush, okay? I am just cruising. So, the wind's actually just dropped off for a moment, which is good, but I would be confident in holding this position in 15 knots easily. I would be working a bit faster if I was in 20 knots, worrying about it blowing me away. But also, I would have gotten hold of this, eased my boat out from the docks, that I've got more time to react to anything. But this is the time. You do not want to have to rush this. Or more importantly, not many people are going to have to do this single-handed, especially in the summer. Oh, I just noticed that. Okay, this is very hard to see, so I'm going to loop that over there. You can't actually see it, but I've noticed another lazy line over top of mine. Now, I don't know where that goes, and I certainly don't want to pull it up and lift it into my propeller. Okay, I can see where it's going now. It's forward of my keel, but I just don't want to catch it on anything. So instead of just lifting that blindly, I'm going to drop that. I've got my boat hook, drop that there. Now I can release it off my cleat back here. Now you see this stuff, you can't do this stuff if you're rushing. And if that foul up of lazy lines was happening while you were rushing and you lifted it up, and then you wrap a propeller, it's just like, oh my gosh. Okay, so now I've got my lazy line to the bow. Let's do a zoom in on this, because there's a certain way to do this. There's a certain way I do this, okay? When we're going onto a cleat like this, come aft around the cleat. Don't go around the top here, because you're going to do a wrap and end up jamming. Aft around the cleat like that. Now, I'm not going to work hard right now. This is going on loose. O, and I'm not going to do a full O when they're thick and they're going to jam in here. So a 3/4 O, X, O, O. Now, that's not going to take any weight, because we're way too close to the dock. I need to stretch this. I do not work hard, working hard enough on this boat with no electric winches. So we go back down. Now we're going to ease out our 2 stern lines to make it a lot easier to bring that line in at the bow. I'm just going to slow down ever so slightly there on the throttle. Ease out my starboard line. Drone's landing, Blair. Keep it in the air. Now I'm going to ease quite a lot out of my port line. And then I can control out my starboard line. Wind's picking up. So now I'm going to need a little bit more power to keep my position, but I've got a full turn around this cleat. And this is the windward control line. We have another video where we mucked around with the windward control line for quite a while that you can check out. So now I've moved myself a decent distance from the dock. I can go forward and tighten that bow line. Always aware if that boat's sitting where I think it's going to be sitting. Yeah, all good. So I think I've lost cameras, but I'll pull this up, tension it there, and you can tell by my voice I'm not working super hard. I'm further from the dock than I want to be so that I can stretch this line. I'm also going to be very wary. I'm also going to be very wary of reversing against this line hard in the winter when I don't know how much servicing and everything has happened with these. So now I've got that tension on. I'm going into reverse, tensioning back on my bow line. The moment I'm popping 1800 RPM, I'm going to give it a tiny bit more because I've got a big ball fender there and I'm feeling confident. And I like a taut line. 0800s on my cleats. I'm not a fan of hitches. If you've watched my videos, you know that. Tension those up, 0800, going nowhere. Now I'm back down to neutral. See how she sits. There we go. So, the point of that is to not say, hey, go out and do this single-handed. The point of that is to understand the stages in which we do things to make it easy for your crew. I hope that was helpful. Please, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this crap. And yeah, we'll be filming, we'll be doing it all. We have live streams every Tuesday for itinerary planning in the winter and charter tips, and also 45D weekly lives on Friday. You can come in, hang out, drink a gin, and say hi. Thanks for watching.